Hello, 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 what ho! Welcome back to another exciting adventure of The Plain Truth, Rethinking the Curve, Shooting the Chesapeake. I'm your host, Travis Finley. I am on the other side of the Chesapeake in the Red Point community. Such a friendly little community. Welcoming, burgeoning artists with open arms. A little bit tongue-in-cheek there. But, the visibility is not that great with the light, so I haven't been able to locate the lighthouse just yet. And, let's see some, I think it should be, I just don't even know. See, now it looks crooked. Looks like it's a little bit off. Maybe it's because I was pushing down on the camera. Got a boater starting up, a fisherman. So we got that blinking light right there, whatever that could be. Got those lights reflected on themselves. That'll be interesting to check out when I can resolve what I'm looking at. So we've got a lot of inferior miraging going on right there. There was a car that just drove by. You see that? There's a car. I'm going to call my compadres. Call Adam. Adam Fassbender. Alright, so I'm getting a little bit of visibility coming up. I've got a lot of inferior miraging. I can see the lights duplicated underneath themselves. But, okay, so I think I can see the apartment complex to your left. So, how about, is there a car driving past you or behind you right now? Okay, because I can see a car going down a street. Okay. Yeah. And then I've got a blinking light right on the surface of the water, but maybe I don't know if it's the reflection of the other one. It's right underneath it. The other lights aren't blinking the way that one is, so would you guys mind trying to give a light flash for me? Yeah, you can just flash it. Okay. Not that I can for sure say that it's you. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, hold the phones. I got the lighthouse, baby. It is lit up like Christmas, Okay, so, all right, so now do your light flash again. So what I can see right now is the walkway. I can see the walkway lights on the path. I just saw something jet across the water. Did a boat just go across the water by you guys? Yeah. Oh well. I don't see anything right now, so from what I'm interpreting, I believe those would be the lampposts that are going along the walking path. Do you remember how far I thought you were walking before? I was like, man, he's walking forever. Remember that? So I'm trying to get a wide angle view of to catch if you're flashing. What if you go up? Remember how you went up by the lighthouse? Go up by the lighthouse and flash me, and then walk towards Adam, or vice versa. Alright, hey, go, oops, I just lost it. Go right in front of the lighthouse and stand there. Let me know when you get there, because I'd like to see if you're right in front of that light, because it would be a great contrast for the shadow if I can pick you up there. Yeah, I can't see anything but the light. Jump up and down like a gorilla. Yeah, I don't see anything. Oh, I got the light. You're flashing. Yeah, I got it. So listen, so to me, if you're facing me, the lighthouse is behind you. To your right, you're on the far right of the lighthouse. Can you go to your left a little bit, and let me see if I can get you in the. Yes, that's right. Yes. How about you put your light on again, and I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, well, I lost it, so I had it before when you were to the right where you first were. I had it before. Yeah. Okay, I think I just saw it. Yeah. Yeah. I can see it. So walk across to the left again and try to hold the light, facing me. Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah. You're right. Stop. So right now you're right in front of a shadow or a tree for me. So there's a good backdrop there. Okay. Okay, so this, okay, hold on. Ay, ay, ay. My tripod is wonky. Okay, so walk back to where you are set up, and then I can, and keep your light on the whole time, please. I think so, yeah. I think something just came into my, yep. Yeah. No, I lost you. But whatever, it's okay. I'll keep watching. I mean, keep trying. I'll just keep my eye out. There's so many flickering lights, it's... Yeah, I lost it. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so... Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna back off a little bit and see what I can catch on the water, because there's a lot of birds flying around and I want to try to catch them. If a black lab comes along with a frisbee chew toy, that's Maggie. Just in case, because they sometimes bring her out in the early morning. Alright. Okay, I'll let... Okay. So, I started looking back over this footage after my debate with T-Jump. What's up, T-Jump? What's up, yo? How you doing, T-Jump? What freaking white boy calls himself T-Jump? Whatever, man. Anyway, so I wasn't really happy with my dropping the ball on Saturday with the I can hear myself in the kitchen on my phone because I have the watch page open. Okay, focus. I don't know if I can do this. I can hear myself. Okay, I'm gonna whisper. I don't. I'll be right back. Okay, so oh, you know what? I don't think I heard the solfeggio music. Crack a Smurf. Is the music happening now? Um. Okay, get my thoughts back. So, in terms of the debate, I thought that my arguments were, were good, and I felt like I addressed his issues. But when I got to bringing up my footage, man, I just wasn't ready. Because the format of the thing wasn't to make a presentation and whatnot, so I just didn't have anything lined up. So what I did after that was I started looking over footage and putting it into a file that I can have for debates. So that's what this is for. I made a video last night. I stayed up till 3 in the morning putting together the part 1 of this, which is the Red Roof observations with the lighthouse, and Derek O'Hara and Bombaclat Gato Fish, Adam Fassbender, helped me out numerous times with this stuff. So anyway, that's what today is going to be, and I'm going to pull up another one because I'm still making coffee. I do pour overs, so it's a little bit of a drawn out process. So I'm going to find a nice. This is 26 minutes. I won't play the whole thing, but this is 16. Let's see what this. No, we'll do it in order. Let's see, what is this? That's 53 seconds. Okay, so this is this one. Hello. What ho? Welcome back to another exciting adventure of the Plain Truth. I'm your host, Travis Finley. That's not the one I did. Sunrise is about to embark. That is Havre de Grace. And there's the lighthouse. So we're going to camp out on the lighthouse and see how that transitions. I'm going to have it off center because Adam and Derek are over to the left somewhere. I'm going to have to resist following boats. They're going to be out of frame. I'm all by my lonesome. Wish I had someone to talk to. I'm going to jet over here real quick and just get some nice little shot straight down to the shore, but that's just a couple miles away, so it's not that far. See all that, I don't know if I want to call it a heat index or not, but you can see all the wavy lines there on the boat. I just saw a bird. I don't see any birds on the water. Redial. How's the sunrise looking? Is it coming up yet? You just have birds fly across? Did you see some birds just fly across? Yeah, they just went in front of the lighthouse. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to see too much when it's this early. You guys have any foot traffic over there? Just text me when the sun comes up. That way I just have an idea, because I can't see it from behind me. Alright, check out. I don't know what check out means. Check out. Check out. I'm just making that term up. Over and out. I can just barely see that boat that just went across the screen. And I'm not gonna follow it. Oh, I'm not gonna follow it. Alright, alright, alright. I am back. Did you miss me? Alright, I got my headphones on. So, I want to put something past you guys. I want you to pay attention real quick, please, everybody in the chat. And, so, let's see. Try to get to my thoughts. Alright. What we have here is an inferior mirage going on with the lighthouse, okay? And my argument has been that the inferior mirage covers a geographical amount of distance from where the water ends to where the mirage begins on the subject. And I want to go back to the very first video I showed right now and get your input on this, because we don't have any sunlight here, and yet we were going to have an inferior mirage on the lighthouse.
Yeah, you can just flash it, Andres. So,
okay.
Not that I can for sure
so
say that
the sun is not up.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold the phone.
All right. We have an inferior mirage in the dark. Anybody got a thought on that one? I'll wait for the chat to catch up. All right. We can clearly see the inferior mirage because the window is miraged down here. All of these lights are miraged. Now, you know, you could get away with thinking, not, you know, you really couldn't. You really can't get away with thinking that this is a water-based mirage because of how high the fold line is. Good morning, Addie. Good morning, Miss Southern Belle. I've seen you before, but haven't seen you in quite a while, if I do recall. Ranty Flat Earth. Oi, oi, oi. Anthony Dickinson. Anarchy Rules. Alexander Lightwater. Ian Adams. Anthony Dickinson again. S.E. Montreal in the house. Vodka with your coffee. Everybody else, thanks so much. Frank, you know, Vegan Goy, Jimbo. Make sure you Smurfs give a Fonz. Hit that Fonz. And, yeah. Okay, so anybody out there? You've heard my question, so... Good servant in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you here. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Again, everybody pay attention, please. What are your thoughts on the fact that this is in the dark? We've got an inferior mirage in the dark. Anybody? I'll open the panel if you guys want to have a discussion. Anybody want to come on and have a discussion? Yeah, Mark is so meta. Alright, I'm not going to totally wait around forever. If anybody's not going to give their 2 cents, that's fine, but it's out. Excuse me, it's out there, right? Alright. So, what I was doing then with this, when you say me, Ranty, are you saying I would like to be in the panel? I don't know what me is. It's a little bit ambiguous. The context is lost on me. Right. No. There is mirroring. There is reflection, but there's no sunlight. Okay, you'll join? Okay, give me a second and I will start up a Zoom. Zoom. Cannot start video. I think it was just because I'm doing it on the other one. Shrink that down. I'm gonna share my screen. Share screen, and I'm just gonna put it in the chat. If anybody wants to join, we can have a party. There you go. Join the party, SE Montreal. Yeah, but you don't normally think of miraging. At least I didn't, without sunlight, right? You have to have light. Ranty Flat Earth. You're on mute. I do not hear you. Okay, let me think of how to do this. Yeah, I don't have a video or There we go.
Hey, it's the first time I've used this, so it's a little bit.
Okay, but you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on, man?
It's all good. It's all good.
So, so what are your thoughts in terms of understanding mirage in the dark?
Mirage in the
Mic check.
dark. Do you want to show me?
Is that SE?
Yes, sir. Good morning, all.
Good morning, SE. Glad to have you.
Glad to
Hello,
be here.
SE. Hello,
Good morning,
SE.
Ranty.
Hey.
All right, so I'm going to pull up the video again. You should see it on the screen.
Oh, right. Okay. So you're on about an inferior mirage at night time. Yeah, I've got some too from Barrow looking at Blackpool.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the question?
I'd never thought about capturing an inferior mirage in the dark. You don't normally think of, at least I don't normally think of mirages without sunlight. So it just took me back. I mean I've looked at this footage before, but I had never like thought, why am I seeing a mirage in the dark? But that doesn't surprise you?
Um, it's not as frequent at night time. I have to say. I'd say that the maybe 50% you'll see of an evening, so it's much clearer normally on a night time. But you do get them, and it's just the same thing. It's the same amount. It's the same hidden, value. They hide things behind it.
Yeah, but how does that work in terms of if we're going to think like a baller who talks about light traveling and because that light, there's no light here. The only light here uh, is manufactured. I mean, the only reason why we're seeing the lighthouse at all right now is because it has a light there. If those walkways weren't lit up, and the spotlight there in front of the lighthouse, we wouldn't see the lighthouse. So, I guess again, if we think about, like someone like Rumpus explaining why we see an object, and he's saying that the light is traveling to us. This isn't daylight, right? So to me, I'm just trying to think through this, and maybe I'm missing something that's obvious, but. Uh,
Mm.
I
I,
don't know.
I don't really understand the question, to be
Okay,
honest.
USE, am I not communicating clearly, or if you're just thinking, yeah, Travis, you're.
I just got on having my coffee. Can you repeat that, Travis? Sorry.
Um, basically, SE, I'm showing the lighthouse in the dark, or in the very very pre-dawn light, and I'm just trying to think through how do we understand daylight and the communication of an image when there's no direct sunlight, right? Because the only light that we're getting here is light from
Man-made, man-made light.
is man-made light. But anyway, like I said, I might be overthinking this. It might not really be that big of a deal, but just something I was thinking about.
I don't see the issue. It's man-made light, and you're seeing it. That's it. You're
Yeah.
picking it up with the camera.
Okay.
Is the question more that during daylight and ambient light? So this isn't even ambient light. This is man-made light. So
Yeah. Yeah.
is the question: do they behave the same because they're both producing an inferior mirage?
Correct. Right. I guess. Yeah. That would be a developed question. With ambient light was the word I was looking for. Yeah. So, right, and the whole argument from the ballers is that light is light. So laser light is the same as daylight. They're both light. So.
Yeah, but laser is different. It's coherent. It's one wavelength, correct?
I agree with you, but whenever I bring this point up, they always say, "Are you telling me that daylight isn't light? Uh, a laser is light. Daylight is light. Light is light." I mean, that's their answer. Light is light. I get it, and I agree with you. There's a qualitative difference to what we're looking at, but
Yeah, there's a big difference. Regular light has all the color spectrum, and laser light has one specific color, one wavelength. It's a big difference.
Sure, but I think that they would say, and I think we've got Larry DeMarch in the chat, so he can pipe up if he wants, but I think that they would say just because you've got one of the spectra, that one shows you what they're all doing. So if you can see this green laser light curve down, you're just not seeing every other color of the spectra go down as well. They're all doing it. That's what I would imagine, of course, because no one's
Yeah,
here.
but don't they have conditions in a fish bowl filled with sugar? I believe.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think we live in a fish bowl.
I know. They break the rules of physics all the time. There's no doubt about that. That's not the question, and it doesn't seem to faze them that they think that they can create La La Land, and then just superimpose it on our world. Yeah.
Yeah, like with the latest Horizon thing. Well, if we remove the atmosphere, what?
Yeah. If we change all the variables, that's absolutely ridiculous. I love it when they bring up these non sequiturs. Like when I was in the debate with T Jump, and I said something as an example. I said, if you drive down the left side of the road, you can either cause an accident or get pulled over by the cops. And he said, well, what if... I'm like, dude, you're changing the variable. Of course this is going to change the discussion. If you completely say, well, what if, now you're bringing in a completely different hypothetical. So have fun with that. Don't pay attention to the question that I brought up. You're deflecting and not paying attention. But anyway, so I'm going through this footage because, as I said at the beginning, I wanted to have a file that I could go to because I wanted to be able to show, what I've done with refraction and things like that with my images. So this is.
Yeah, can I just say that I heard you on that debate platform that you went on.
Yeah.
And it was painful listening to you try and find files for like.
Yeah, I know, man. Well, see, that's the whole thing. The first time I had my debate with MC Toon, I didn't bring up any. I don't think I didn't bring up anything. We just had an argument. We just discussed, right? Because it wasn't a formal, structured thing. So I wasn't prepared in the T-jump, Mm-hmm. So when he's like, can you show me? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, oh shit, where is it? I was like, oh man. And then my mouth was getting all dry because I was dropping the ball. I was just like, this is not what I want to do.
Well, you were crushing that last guy that you debated. You were crushing him, and then it got to the point where it was like you needed to bring your proofs up, and then it was a case of the time went by so long, and it was such a long.
I know.
Everyone seemed to forget the momentum that you had built up.
Yeah. But
and things do disappear from the bottom up as well, by the way. As much as you like to think they don't.
The gloves are out.
I could be wrong. But
definitely wrong.
Okay.
Because that's where all the lower part is where everything happens. Everything happens at the low point. So if the boat's near to you, let's say the boat's a mile away from you, the refraction issues of the bottom of the boat, let's say it's happening on the first 6 inches. What happens when it goes to 5 miles? It's happening on the bottom 3 feet, let's say, or 5 feet, yeah? But the top part of the boat's out of that, so it's not actually being affected. So things do definitely disappear from the bottom up. You're right, what you say, the angular size of it does change, and it goes and disappears, and sometimes it can just blend into the background and disappear that way. But things do, all the things happen on the bottom of the boat generally when it hits that inferior mirage.
Okay, so here we go. You got this?
Yep.
All right. So we've got boats that are in the band here, and then we've got this one who's.
Okay, so the one that's in the band, the first one that you pointed to, yeah. So you see in the top of that boat, and the bottom of it is where?
No. Okay, right. Okay, so and again, I'm gonna try not to speak past you. I want to try to communicate clearly. We have an inferior mirage. We can't see the fold line, right? So the fold line is right here in the middle, and you've got another boat right here. But this is now the bottom, right? So the bottom is the inferior mirage inverted. So the bottom of the boat that you're talking about is right here in the middle now. Okay? So
No. No, the bottom of the boat is hidden behind the bottom part of the inferior mirage.
and that's where I'm going to say no, Ranty. No, that's incorrect. So, okay, let's do this maybe. We can bring that up in a second again. Let me pull up the let's see, which file is it, or which page is it going to be? I'm just going to bring that up. Speaking of the Plain Truth, if you want to support me on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com, put in the Plain Truth, and join Brandon Toy as well as Danny D, my first two patrons. Thanks so much, you guys. Enough of that, and let's go to Hyperphysics Mirage. Alright, so I'm going to bring this over to this side here. Over here. Up here. Can you guys see that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so mirage, blah, blah, blah. Let's just break this down real quick. Okay, this image is orthographic. Okay, this is Muppet vision. This guy is not seeing the mirage to the left of the image. Okay, that's what this depicts, or it's below the image. I mean, it is below, but it's not. It should be out this way. They should be able to stretch this thing up and put it in his direction. Okay, so he's not looking at this mirage. This is not a correct depiction of what you see with a mirage. Okay, here we're getting to the breakdown of the vanishing line. They're trying to. This is now what this guy sees. He sees this, which is the top of the boat, so to speak, and this is the bottom of the boat.
Yep.
But right here in the middle, okay, is right here in the middle of the image. Okay.
So the bottom of the bottom trunk. So on the top one. So if you go to the original where he's looking at it, look at that one. So you'd see the bottom of the tree. If there wasn't an inferior mirage in the way, you would be looking at the bottom of the tree, wouldn't you? If there was no inferior mirage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because there's an inferior mirage, the bottom of the tree has disappeared.
Right.
Right. So if you push that tree back and keep pushing it further away, it's going to change in angular size and it's going to get smaller. And as it gets smaller, it's what's going to happen is that it's going to be the branches of the tree that are on the vanishing line, and eventually all of that tree will sit behind the vanishing line. All of it will sit behind the vanishing line, behind the inferior mirage, which will just be an inferior mirage of the sky. That's what you'll be looking at. So the boat, or in this case the tree, will disappear from the bottom up, respectively, the further away it goes.
All right, so I'm trying to listen to you. I'm trying to hear what you're saying. So let's go down here to another demonstration of this idea. This is the vanishing line. Okay, this is the bottom.
Yeah.
But when the mirage comes up, it hasn't disappeared from the bottom up. The mirage has cut the image in half, and if we're going to say that the okay, this is the pristine image with no mirage. So this right here is the bottom of the boat. Let's pretend that this image is a boat. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the mirage blocks the bottom of the boat, but the bottom of the boat hasn't disappeared from the bottom up.
It's prospectively in your visual line of sight, it has disappeared from the bottom up. They're viewing it disappear from the bottom up. Everybody's seeing it disappear from the bottom up. The fact that it's behind the inferior mirage is what's causing that, but it will disappear from the bottom up.
I don't like it.
Mate, I could bring up 1,000 images right now. In fact, I've got so many demonstrations of this and watching boats actually visually do it.
All right, well, we're going to do it right now, Ranty. We're going to do it right now, my friend. Okay.
Go ahead.
So we've got this motorboat going into the distance. We have this sailboat that is cut in half, and
okay. So where's the bottom of it?
It's right here.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you agreeing with me, or?
I'm looking at what you're presenting at the minute.
Yeah, because again, the image itself is duplicated, so we can't see the bottom, right? So, but right now we can see the bottom of this boat. Let's just say right here, we can see this part. This is the bottom. There's no mirage, but at some point, like right here, it's starting to cross the line right now. Okay, so right now, this is now an inferior mirage underneath. So now it has a new bottom visually.
No, that's on that boat, not on the boat behind it.
No, but that's what happened to this boat. It's just farther along into the mirage.
No. Yes, yeah, so that it appears higher up as well. I mean, that vanishing line isn't a set line. It's actually an angle.
Go back to what you just said about...
Well, stop where you are now. You see where the inferior mirage is on the boat?
Sorry, I just clicked right before you said stop where you are now.
So go back to where you stopped it, and you start to see the inferior mirage on the speedboat.
Well, I can see it right now.
Okay,
right,
so
right
pause it right there.
Right here.
So now look behind it to the distant shoreline.
Yeah.
And can you see where the inferior mirage is there on that? So if you take a screenshot of that right now, and you put a line through where the inferior mirage is on the speedboat that you've just stopped on, and then you put a line on the inferior mirage of the distant land where that actually happens, you'll see that they're on two different levels.
I get that. No, I get that.
So it's an angle. So the inferior mirage is actually an angle.
Yeah. So the problem that I can't do for you guys right now is what YouTube can see. So in my OBS, I've got an overlay of water that I can slide up and create a false horizon or a false water line. And that's what I'm doing right now for the people on YouTube. Is right now I've just raised up the water.
I see it on YouTube.
I've raised up the water line to now cut off the mirage so that the boat looks like it's sitting on the water. Okay, so now I can do that. We've got 3 different layers, like you said. The boat is proximate to us, so now ignore that boat and go to the blue mirage on the right. And I've just done the same thing to that. Okay, so that's the second layer, and then farther along behind that is going to be the land, and so then you've got a third layer of distance. So I agree with that. The thing that and again, this isn't something for you and I to die on. I'm just saying that this boat here is not disappearing from the bottom up because of the mirage. The mirage adds a dynamic to it where you have a duplicate image, and that duplicate image underneath is the bottom visually, and that's always going to be there. And then it's going to diminish in angular size as it goes into.
Again, I think your terminology's a bit off there. The inferior mirage that you see is hiding the bottom of the boat. It is, because the bottom of the boat is behind it.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
So, perspectively, if you was just looking at this, you would see an inferior mirage of the boat. You wouldn't see the bottom of the boat. You would see a reflection of the top of the boat. So when they see all these distorted images, especially like that boat that I filmed at the ferry, you'll see an inferior mirage on that go the whole way, and obviously it just disappears into the inferior mirage, and then it just disappears, it vanishes. That was proof of curvature. Boats going over the horizon, the globers won't accept what you're saying. And, we look at it right now, it doesn't even look like the boat at the bottom, because the inferior mirage is completely overlapping the bottom of it. The bottom of the boat is hidden behind it, perspectively. You can't see the bottom of the boat.
Yeah.
So they are quite correct when they say it's disappearing from the bottom up.
No.
Okay. They are. Visually,
It's not,
disappearing from
but
the
it's
bottom
not.
up.
Only visually, Travis.
Yeah,
But-
that's what I'm saying. Visually, it's disappearing from the bottom up, and that's their argument.
Okay, so I'm going to argue with them and not you. It is not disappearing from the bottom up because the bottom of the boat is now in the middle of the mirage. So the mirage right here on the water line is now the bottom visually, but that's not the bottom of the boat. The bottom of the boat isn't down here physically, it's right here. So this is the middle of the image. This,
No, it's not.
okay, all right. All right.
No, it's not.
Can I make this statement and see if you guys both agree on it?
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm going to fill up my coffee. Hold on.
Sure.
I like that Travis is getting into this though, this inferior mirage stuff, because
Oh yeah, especially with you, Ranty, because let's face it, you've been at this for a while, and you're more qualified certainly than me to talk about this.
yeah.
So you
and,
guys should hash this out.
you know, at the end of the day, I'm open to all kinds of new suggestions, but everything that I've ever filmed, you know, has disappeared from the bottom up. You know.
Look, that's
right,
undisputable.
I'm back.
I mean, you can't deny that. Visually, that's how it looks. Now, what causes that is a whole different story.
Yeah, the cause of it is either on really, really, really good days, it'll just be its angular size. Really clear days, it's just its angular size gets too small, it just gets lost. Also, you got to check the light. You know, how much light is coming off the boat and how many pixels. You know what the camera's picking up. It might pick up more blue in an individual pixel, even though you're seeing some of the white of the boat. And what it'll do is it'll just present a blue image to you. So you'll lose it through pixelation. You can also lose it through the inferior mirage, which is
Compression,
mostly,
stooping, yeah.
All right.
compression.
I'm back, guys. Just real quick, keep working. Smurf out there, Danny D. Smurf out there, Gleam Smurf is out there, Ronnie Foshi is out there. Thanks for being here, everybody. Okay, so SE, remember what you wanted to say?
Yeah, I wanted to see if you guys can find some common ground here. So I'm gonna make a statement and see if both of you can agree on this. From what I see so far, and I'm new to this Horizon stuff, but from what I see so far, can we say, for example, that the boat appearing? Let me start. At a distance, when we see the boat disappear, it's due to the refraction conditions, whatever they are, miraging, but it appears that it's going bottom down. Now, it's not really going bottom down, but it appears that way due to refraction. Can we agree on that statement, both
No.
of you? Okay.
Travis has got his ether band.
I really don't. I mean, listen, I would like to think that I am not being a punk and trying to answer. I don't see this boat going down anywhere, except for when it's going over the wave and valley with the wave and trough of the crest that it might be traveling over. Right now, it just turned left, and so we can see. Let me back up a little bit real quick. Okay, I'm just going to stop right here. We know, or maybe I shouldn't say that, but I would assume that you two would agree. This boat is physically on water that we can't see. That water is extending into the distance, and if this mirage were not here, we would see a smaller boat. We would see the boat, the hull, meet the water, however minutely our resolution could be. You know, my eyesight might be worse than yours, but we know that the boat is on water. This boat is not going down. It's going away from. It's going farther into the distance. So that's why I said SE. Because I heard you say, would you say that it's going down? And that's why I said, no, I'm not going to agree with that. This boat is not going down anything.
In this particular case, maybe not, but other cases, it appears like, example, the one Jose showed us yesterday, this
Okay.
famous picture. Now that boat appears to be going down. Now we know it's not going down, but the appearance is there. How would you explain that, for example?
Okay, so I'll do.
How do I share my screen here?
I think drop down. Are you on your PC?
PC, yeah.
Drop down to the. But do you have a green ID bar at the bottom, or is that just me?
Does it say share?
Yeah, it should. It should say new share. So I'm.
Let me just try share. You cannot share the screen while the other participant.
Okay,
is
let me try to figure out how to stop sharing. Oh, there it is. It says stop share.
Nah.
All right, go ahead, Randy.
Let's see if I can.
Shout out to Ninja Man Smurf. You guys don't forget to hit those Fonzies, please. Hit those Fonzarellis.
There you go. Can you see this image?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the top image where we've got some sand dunes, obviously in the foreground, and behind that we've got the estuary. There's a little bit of water there that you can just make out where the cursor is. Behind that we've got some houses on the estuary shoreline over down here, and then behind it we've got the buildings of Barrow. Well, the houses, the estuary, the sand dune, they're all hidden. They're not visible.
Yeah.
They're lost. You can't make them out.
Yep.
Now, if you look where the water ends on here, perspectively, it's around about here.
Yep.
So where the inferior mirage, so where these things start to disappear, it's not in the center. It's below the center of the inferior mirage. It's always been the case. It's never along the center part of it. It's always slightly below. And I've got hundreds of demonstrations of this. But the thing is, if you was looking at this as an image, and this was a boat, well, where's the hull gone of the boat? Well, it's behind the inferior mirage. I've got some more images that I can present. Let me bring this one. Photos. Hopefully you're seeing this image now.
It's the same one that you had before.
Oh, right. It's a different image. It's with the two boats.
No.
Let me stop share that and then reshare. Share that one. Share. There you go. How's that?
Yep, we got it.
Okay, so on this particular image, there was direct line of sight to this. This was from like a 30-foot elevation, the highest boat. Sorry, the boat in the background was like 7.5 miles away. This one in the foreground was around about 5. There should have been no obstruction, by Earth curve at that distance anyway. But so I should have just had a direct line of sight to it on any model, flat Earth, globe Earth. It didn't make a difference.
Right.
But there's definitely 2 lines to where these inferior mirage happens on the boat. But the inferior mirage, there's nothing else that can explain what's hiding this boat in the distance.
Correct.
It can't be Earth curve.
Correct.
And it cannot be, anything because I'm too high and it's too close.
Yep. Correct.
And, it has disappeared from the bottom up. If you look at that,
incorrect.
You can't see the bottom of it. You cannot see it. It's behind the inferior mirage.
I agree with that, but I'm just being a stickler on details. It did not disappear incrementally from the bottom up. It turned into an inferior mirage once it crossed into that zone.
Let me see if I can. I do have a set of images that I need to. Let me just find this set of images. You guys talk for a second. I'll stop sharing my screen.
So, are you going to come back and share another one?
Yeah, I'm gonna share you a set of images that shows the boat getting incrementally smaller and hiding itself bottom up behind the inferior mirage.
Okay. So, Essie, to go back to your question, I was given a link to a video that I saw 9 months ago, and I'm sure you've seen it too. It's these 2 freighters. It's just like Jose's, only it's more stark and dramatic, where the freighter is cut in half, and there's another freighter that's closer in the proximity, and so Ruhif sent it to me, and he said, "How do you explain this?" and it is the the ship is cut in half, so you cannot see the bottom, but you can see the water. It's the same concept, but it's a different refraction. It's a different refractive distortion. That's what I'm calling it, a refractive distortion. When you don't have a mirage, you still have distortion due to the refractive index, and that is the black swan. Okay, it's the same thing as the black swan. You have a lifting up of the water line visually, so that the water looks like you're closer to it and it is higher up, and then it cuts off the bottom of the oil platform in the black swan image. But that is simply an optical illusion. So it's not a mirage because you don't have a mirrored image, but it is still an effect of refraction. And if we want to call it compression, which is what I've suggested, and this is where the ballers say, are you telling me that the entire boat is compressed? I'm like, yeah, because you don't have a problem with towering. I've got images where the image that you and I first looked at, remember, and you said this is the best proof of the ether band. Remember that, SC?
Yeah, and I still say you should still have it on your opening. Hello, get it up there, bro.
Okay, all right, man, all right. But my point is, if you don't have a problem, not you, if our antagonists don't have a problem in seeing an image doubled and call it towering, why the hell should you have a problem with compression? Who the hell are you to say that the refraction can't compress? Well,
I fully agree with you, Travis, and BML69 has a perfect video on that. You should check it out in one of his vids. He shows exactly that.
I hate BMLS B69. Just want everybody... No, I'm just kidding. But I shared his link yesterday and hashtagged it, I hate BMLS B69. Because he's got some fantastic stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Can you see my screen now, Travis?
No, I don't think you've shared it yet.
Should have done.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Here we go.
Okay, so this hopefully I can get through these series of images and you'll see all this. So essentially, this is basically the full boat, apart from at the very bottom where we've got this inferior mirage right at the bottom down here. And what's happening? This boat is going further away from me. So if I just keep flicking through the images, what you'll see. Let's see, say about here. Can you see where the boat's going further away? So it's traveling further away, but it's perspectively, obviously, as it gets further away and getting smaller, it's getting lower. Yeah, it's going down, which is forcing it into the inferior mirage, or the line, the vanishing line. And here's another one on the next slide. As you can see, it is disappearing from the bottom up. The bottom of the boat, go back to the original image, you can't make out the bottom of the hull anymore. You can't make out this, but as it goes further away, it just goes perspectively smaller due to its angular size, but that angular size drags it down towards this vanishing line. Here's a very clear image of it. All of the hull is behind the inferior mirage.
Right. So
if you as a globe head looking at this, you would say that this boat is disappearing from the bottom up because you can't see the hull anymore. In fact, you can just make out the bottom of it. It's getting incrementally smaller because it's going further away, and they're confusing that angular size change with going over a curve because they're only seeing the top part of the boat now. So what they're saying is that this top part of the boat that's still a bit visible, right, is going over the curve because they haven't put it two and two together. That it's getting smaller, and because it's getting smaller and further away, it's also dropping into the inferior mirage line. And here's a very good image of it. Look at this for a beautiful image. Where you're only seeing the top of it now, but the rest of the hull is behind this. Absolutely crystal clear, and it just disappeared, just going further and further and further away. And there we go. It's just disappearing. It's gone. That's the last image.
Except for that rod. That's,
there it is.
Except for that rod that's sticking up.
The rod. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So on this second to last image, this is what I'm saying. The camera was picking up more blue in the pixels, right? So all the white of the boat basically vanished behind it.
Right.
But when I actually adjusted the colours and the contrast, I was able to bring most of the shape of it back and part of the boat. I'm going to put this red line in where the inferior.
Did you only do that with that app right there with the
with just paint?
yeah, with paint?
Yeah. So this was the image before where we're still getting most of the white, but then it just goes far enough away that the camera is now picking up more blue than white. So all that white has disappeared. The boat is still there, but you can barely see it. In fact, a globe head would say, "Where's the boat?" Apart from this part here. But when you actually adjust the contrast on it and stuff, you can bring it back. So the boat is still there.
And
the rest of
what about yeah? Go back to the first spot where you started the talk on this, where
the big part of the boat.
Yeah. So let's
There we go.
let's one more where you get more of the wording.
Right, here we go.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we need to understand is that this is what I said last night on Jose's, is that the degree, the angle, the degree from where the water and the mirage begin up to where what you would call the fold line, that degree of angle is covering a physical measurable distance to the boat from whatever this location is where this water is. Yeah. Not only is that a physical distance measurable, but you are also not seeing the hull. The hull is there. It's not behind a curve, Brenda. The hull is there, but it is hidden behind the mirage. So the whole idea that I'm trying to express is we have an inferior mirage here, so the dynamic of the phenomenon is not going to be the same when you don't have an inferior mirage. But my suggestion is, when you don't have an inferior mirage, you still have the reality that the water line is a geometrical distance from you, and then from that point to the boat is a degree of angle that is going to screw with your eyes just like the inferior mirage. It's just not an inferior mirage. But the same way you can't see the hull here, you can't see the hull with the other refractive distortion. But it's the same result. You can't see the bottom because it's behind a distortion.
Yeah, but you're still not getting it though. It still has disappeared from the bottom up. What they're trying to do is they're trying to hijack disappearing from the bottom up and linking it with Earth curve. It's the same as when they talk about the Coriolis effect and saying the Coriolis effect. Well, no, Coriolis effect has nothing to do with Earth spin, but the terminology is so ingrained now in the spin of the Earth that this is what they're trying to talk about. So they're trying to link your terminology here with disappearing from the bottom up with going over a curve. But what you need to do is you need to say, hell yeah, we can see boats disappearing from the bottom up. Yeah, they do disappear from the bottom up, but not to Earth curve. And then you can get into you can then go and demonstrate how the inferior mirage is hiding the bottom of it. But just to go and say that things don't disappear from the bottom up, I don't think that's quite correct, because optically, they do disappear from the bottom up optically. And, that's what you're doing. You're doing optics. I'm doing optics, and they're talking about optics. So optically, it does disappear from the bottom up, because on the last slides, the bottom of the boat is not visible. It's clearly, even in your own images, it's not visible. So it has disappeared from the bottom up.
So one of the things that I think that we need to continue to talk about too is the size of the boat that you've got here as it is moving into the distance, it's not, even though we can see it decreasing in size, it is still not proportional, right? It's still being distorted so that I don't think that we can overlay something and say, look, we know how far away this is because look, I can match up an overlay with the size that it is. Because again,
Travis,
yeah, go ahead.
you're right, and Ranty is right, but I have to agree on Ranty with this one. If you start off the conversation by saying it doesn't appear to disappear bottom first, it I don't know how to say this. It's obvious that it does, right? So if you start off with that, you're at a disadvantage right away. You can just yield to it. And yeah, it appears, but you have to specify it appears, and then you can go on to your explanation. That's just my humble take on it.
Listen.
Yeah, because then you can say to them, well, what's your cause of the bottom-up obstruction? They'll say
Exactly. You
and
can throw it back at them.
Yeah, so then they need to demonstrate curvature, but you can absolutely prove 100% that things disappear optically behind stuff. I mean, that other image that I brought up with the two bolts on, I should have had direct line of sight to those. The buildings of Barrow, I should have had direct line of sight to the sand dunes, to the buildings behind it. They were all missing behind the inferior mirage. You can prove that things hide behind the inferior mirage, and you can demonstrate it with this series of slides that I've just showed you on right now, that this is the demonstration that shows that the boat visibly is hidden from the bottom up, but it's hidden behind the inferior mirage. So you can build a case for why things appear to disappear from the bottom up. Then they have to bring to you proof that a boat has gone over the curve and watch it happening. Then they have to take all the other issues into account. Okay, what about swell? What about shoaling? What was the observer height? What was the conditions on the day? Downward, upward refraction? You believe refraction happens, glowbeds. So you've already talked about sinking. What's wrong with that? They can't demonstrate a boat going over the curve, but you can optically absolutely crush them on this idea. But you just have to agree that things optically do appear to disappear from the bottom up, but it's not from what they would term, they would term it as going over a curve, but you need to take that away from them.
The only thing I can say, gentlemen, is if I am incorrect, please be patient with me, because SE Montreal, to me, it's not obvious. I hear everything that you're saying. It makes sense to me, but I really don't believe like I'm like holding on to something and like a dog on a bone. I would be honest with you if I could and say, you know what, I do. I just don't see it that way. What I want to do real quick, Ranty, go back to the very last image before you went to your color contrast, where you just have that blue post in the back. Is like the only thing that you can see.
No worries. I'm just moving this along, showing that I've actually already done all this, showing that the size.
Is this one scale. File? Is this one file image? Like, how did you compress this into?
It's I just lined them up in Paint and just kept making incremental.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you did this in Paint and then you opened it in Photos. I got it. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So
okay,
they're all together, and you could put a line through these.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's what I was going to do on the very last image. Go to that very last image where all you have is the blue post.
Yeah. Not this one. That one. No.
Yeah, that one right there. So, okay, so if we were to only see this, let's say maybe it was a little bit darker, right? And you could see this, you're going to assume that the entire image is a solid uniform piece, but it's not. There's a bottom part of it that is the mirage. It's the inferior mirage. Would you agree?
The bottom part of it is an inferior mirage, yeah.
Right. So if you're so now go over to your next slide where it's black and white and you've got the line across it. Okay, right. So that line right there shows you that the bottom part is a mirage. So that does not show us the boat behind the curve, because you can see the boat farther in the distance once you've done your filter. So you still have the same phenomenon of an inferior mirage, like what you've done here with the vanishing line or the fold line. So again, what we understand is the degree of the angle from the black water, the black water that's the bottom of the image.
Yeah.
That's where the... Okay, I'm going to back up. Your red line is showing the vanishing line, right?
Yeah.
So the vanishing line is where the inferior mirage begins. If we drop down to the water, that's where the mirage ends. That's the limit of the mirage below. But that space in between, again, that space is blocking the majority of the boat that we can't see.
Yeah.
And I would assume that you've zoomed in on this, right? So if you were to zoom out, think about how much smaller this degree is going to get.
Yeah, we know that. That's everything that I've been saying.
Yep.
Essentially, it's like,
Well, I'm just saying it again
on
for...
On this series of images, this is such a good series of images, and I'll tell you for why. Because you've got a double whammy here. You've got the inferior mirage that's making things disappear, and you've also got the boat that should still be... It's almost invisible.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Clearly a good chunk of the boat visible there, but it's the sky,
Yes.
the light from the sky has, and to the sensor on the camera, the
Yes.
camera is picking up more blue
Right.
rather than white.
Right.
So it's turning the image blue. So it's getting rid of... It's basically using like an eraser on the boat. So you can't see it. It's behind.
Yeah.
This is,
And the
and so you've got a double whammy here. There's a double whammy with this set of images.
I would agree. And again, just to reiterate from the baller, they would say the physical boat is behind this water. No, it's above the water in the distance. You just can't see it.
Yeah.
That's
So,
correct.
Yeah, that's true. So if you want these series of images, Travis, I'll give them you.
yeah, that's great. That'd be great.
I've got so many of these all ready to go. If a Glober came to debate me, I tell you now, and they said a boat, and they want to talk about a boat going over the curve, I'll debate them all day long.
Yeah.
Crush them. Because,
Well, what I might do, I mean, I'd love for you to share it with me, but I'd also like to learn how to do that with my own images, so that I can,
Sure.
do that. But obviously, you've got fantastic work, and there's nothing negative to say about what you've done at all.
Yeah. The only thing I had with the whole presentation, because you absolutely crushed that guy, was that when you actually said things don't disappear from the bottom up, every time you said that, I cringed, because it was like, I understand what you're saying. They aren't going over a curve, but don't mistake that from things visually looking like they're disappearing from the bottom up, because you have to engage them on that to talk about the inferior mirage and things hidden behind it. You can't just do that and then not talk about that. You've got to sort of engage them on that, and then okay, prove your curve then. Prove that the boat went over the curve. I'll show you this series of images, and you tell me where the boat went over the curve. And you can't.
Yeah.
Because the boat didn't go over the curve.
And by agreeing with that, they go bottom first. You take that weapon away from them, Travis, because they're gonna harp on that. What do you mean? And 90% of the people are gonna say, "Yeah, Travis is wrong on this. We see it, we look, and it goes. You understand what I'm saying?" So you can win that argument. That's my point.
Definitely.
Even though you're right.
I got a comment in the chat. I don't understand. NA literalist. I don't understand what you're saying. Can someone lend one of super zoom cameras on the satellites that can see hundreds of thousands of miles away to the plain truth? I'm not sure. Is that sarcasm? Not sure. I guess it is, because you're talking about satellites, but whatever. I don't get it. NA literalist. So
How about they start putting one on the ISS 24/7 like they claim, and not stopping every 40 minutes? How about they start with that?
yeah. I mean, to totally change subjects, and I don't know if you guys heard me talk about this if you ever watched one of my streams from when I was in California, but I talked about my GPS, my Garmin GPS that I got. So I buy this Garmin GPS, I put 2 batteries in it, and I've got satellite connectivity for free. So how do I have something for free that I have to pay for with a phone, like a satellite phone? I can't just buy a satellite phone and turn it on and get like a walkie-talkie, like a ham radio, and pick up the airwaves. I've got to pay for it. But this little Garmin can show me where I'm located and show me how many satellites are allegedly above my head for free. You guys get the tension?
Compliments, it's not free. Compliments of your government.
Well, but you understand what I'm saying. I didn't have to buy a plan.
Yeah.
I didn't have to buy a plan in order to have access to that information. It to me, again, it's all commercialism. It's all marketing. It's all commerce. It's to make money. So it's kind of like when you go to a sale at a store and they've got it marked down to like 99 cents. I'm like, you could have been selling this for 99 cents the whole time. The reason why you didn't was because your markup, you want to be gouging your customer. And now because you got overhead, you need to get rid of it, and you're just going to be happy with making 99 cents. But my whole point is that, you know, we're all being shafted on this whole bullshit cell cover, you know, cell towers, cell phones. I was thinking about this before I even had that epiphany. Like, why can't someone create a radio-based telephone that it's like a walkie-talkie? I mean, it's the same thing. I don't know why we can't do that. That's not my side. I'm not an engineer, but it should be doable. Am I right?
The only problem I see on that is coverage. You can have a walkie-talkie, but you can you only have like a limited.
Right? No, I get that. But that's the whole. All of the major companies use the same towers, so they all have an investment in those towers, and they all piggyback off them. So it wouldn't be. Again, I understand the idea. Like, we would have to build our own relay towers. Right, we would have to have our own John D. Rockefeller who's going to fund that. But my point is, it can be done.
Oh yeah, for sure. But then it's a question of money, like you said, Travis.
Yeah.
It's all about money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. You guys in the States, you pay $50 and you have unlimited internet, right? You had it for years. Up here in Canada, to have the same thing, you need like... for a plan, you need like $112, and the internet is limited to like 5 gigs, and after that it slows down. So it's all about gouging the customer.
Yeah.
Travis, can you see my screen?
I can, Ranty.
Okay, right. This is the simplest way I can explain it. If we've got the blue line at the bottom, which is the ocean, and then we know that these inferior mirages happen at different points, the further away you go, the higher up the inferior mirage happens on something, yeah? So let's suppose that's on the right-hand side over here where the inferior mirage is at the highest on the bank, you know, that you showed me on your image before. And then obviously you've got the boat where it starts the inferior mirage, which would be down here, yeah? Can you see how it gets higher the further you go?
But you're not doing you're not trying to communicate orthographic view. You're showing distance with that increased angle. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So distance. So obviously this is you on the left taking the image. So when you were seeing the speedboat and you saw your speedboat say here, it just started to affect the bottom of it. But on the far side, on the embankment, on the other side, it was higher up, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
So here's your wind turbine, yeah? So you've got your wind turbine here. So here it is on the flat plane, right?
Yeah.
And the further away that you're looking at the further away that wind turbine
Yeah.
Can you see how now the inferior mirage is going to happen on the wind turbine? Way. It's halfway up the turbine now. In fact, if this turbine was turning, this blade was turning, it would be actually splashing the waves.
Yeah. Bro,
right?
I don't know if you've seen this video.
Well, if you're looking at it here, it's just on the bottom. But the further away, because generally these turbines are further away.
Yeah.
The further away they go, the smaller they get, obviously, prospectively. But when it gets to there, now, right, you should have a direct line of sight at that turbine, right? You should do without the inferior mirage, right? But all you're seeing is the wind turbine cresting the waves, because the rest of it's hidden behind the inferior mirage.
Yeah, I totally get that, and that is absolutely brilliant. Do you know Exploring the Plane?
Yes.
Have you seen his still? Is this the one I want to do? He had this fantastic wind turbine. I think it was him.
That's a good demonstration there, Ranty. That's very well done. Simple, but to the point, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And
I'm glad you're getting it. I'm glad because prospectively to the observer, that boat is behind a curve because it's just cresting the waves. In their opinion, that's what they're seeing. That's all they're seeing, an inferior mirage. But the rest, it's not. It's just the mirage is hiding the bottom of it. That's it.
It also demonstrates the perspective angle. Even though it's in Muppet vision, we still get the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the for that video that I watched. Yeah, I can't find it. I'm pretty sure it was. Did you stop sharing?
I did, yeah. I've just stopped.
Okay,
sharing.
I'm gonna just jump on real quick, see if I can find it and show it, and if not, then we'll wrap it up. Because I've got to pack my lunch and everything like that. So just give me 1 second.
Okay.
I think it was.
I'll just go AFK for 1 minute myself.
All right. There it is. The sun never sets on a flat earth. That's it right here. I think we'll just close with this. Just watch it, not make any commentary. All right. Essie, you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. All right. Danny D. Smurf in the house. Addy is in the house. And Ninja Man, Ian Adams, Larry DeMarch, Samuel Robotham, Victor Thomas. Everybody, thanks so much for watching the show. And again, if you want to support this content, you can do that either through PayPal at rethinkthecurve@gmail.com. And then also, if you want to go to Patreon, you can go to Patreon and look for The Plain Truth and join Danny D and Brandon Toy as patrons. All right, so we back, Ranty?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to basically do is, I think, just let this play, and as when it
sharing?
Oh yeah, thanks.
Can I say something before you go away, Travis?
Please do.
I want to say, first of all, thanks to Ranty and to you. This is a perfect example how differences between the communities should be handled and discussed. A nice, beautiful conversation. And kudos to both of you guys. Very well done.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Cheers. Yeah, I mean, I think Travis is, he's doing really well, especially getting in debating these guys. I don't particularly like debating them, but it's nice that Travis is stepping up and he's kicking ass on that. Yeah, good stuff.
Oh yeah, he cleaned the floor with Maktoon, that's for sure. I love that.
Yeah, So just to let everybody know, there is going to be a follow-up debate. I contacted both the host and T Jump and said, would you mind having a follow-up discussion / debate? I didn't say rematch, anything like that. But I there were certain things that I knew were happening in the moment, and I did not hold my ground, where I let him redirect away from my opening statement. So in my opinion, he should have addressed my opening statement, and I should have addressed his. That's what I was doing when he was doing his stuff. I was writing down all my notes about how I wanted to address what he had said. But when he started his Q&A, he started asking me about stuff that I didn't make statements on, right? And I even said it to him. I said I would actually rather have discussions about what I claimed. So I'd like to go back and be a little bit more hard-nosed on those points and say we're going to stick to these. I'm not moving. It's like Nathan not letting anybody beg the question. I'm not letting you beg this question, So plus, not only that, but I'm getting my file ready so that I do have a nice arsenal of images to present. So don't know when that's going to happen, everybody, but do keep your eye out for a follow-up debate discussion on modern day debate. Shout out to Gleam again and Chris Berry. Make sure you guys give a Fonzarelli, and I'm going to play this. Hopefully it's going to be a smooth stream. Sometimes I have a problem with playing the stream. I don't know why.
Maybe put it on 720 instead of 1080.
Yeah, I just looked at that, so we'll try that. Okay? All right, so basically I'm not going to make any comments. I think we're just going to wrap up with this because it's going to be a picture is worth a million words right here. Everything that we discussed, everything that Ranty just brought up with the wind turbines. Here we go. This is exploring the plane.
Hey guys, I gotta go. Just thought I'd let you know.
Later, Auntie. Nice talking with you.
Catch you later, guys.
Spectacular vids, bro. Is that two suns I see? Yep.
Yeah, so I'm just going to jump on real quick and yeah, so I mean everybody, if you guys just constantly think about what we're saying, again, this image is representing the extended plane. Okay? When you see the water stop here, it's not stopping here. It's continuing to go into the distance. And the reason why you can't see it is because there is a refractive distortion going on. This one happens to be an inferior mirage. But notice here, and I have...
There's some looming also going on there, Travis.
Well, again, I am redefining looming as magnification. Looming, of course, SE, is not the refraction of light over a curve. That's not what looming is, because there is no curve. So looming to me, as I've thought about it, is simply bringing the image closer to you, like what Rob Skiba showed with his Fresnel lens demonstration with the cityscape, and I think somebody else did that too. I just watched them do that yesterday. I can't remember what channel it was. Forgive me, content provider channel person that I can't remember. But so what would you say is looming here, SE? And if you're thinking through this, what do you mean by looming?
See, now that I said it, I could be mistaken, because I saw examples of looming. For example, QE had a good one. I don't know if you saw it on a golf course, where there's a boat in the background and it looks like it's hovering in the air.
Yeah. That's...
But that was like sorry to let me finish just
a few
sure, seconds. That was like both, the sea looked the same, but here it's different. It looks like dark in the front, and like I don't know what to make of this. So,
Well, if you,
Still learning.
yeah, if you go up, uh, let's see, you see the image just left of center. It's like a rectangular inferior mirage where you've got a
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Clearly the mirage. You can see the inferior
okay,
mirage.
right,
That's for
right,
sure.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
and so then you have a different layer in. You've got a light band, a dark gray band, and then a less gray band, and then you've got
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
got
yeah,
the water right there in the
yeah.
middle. That's where the magic is happening in terms of the mirage. Um,
Right.
but that whole image is distorted. You have no idea what the hell you're looking at. What is this? Um, but what I'm saying is that from the water line and the limit of the mirage up to the middle, that is hiding the continuing um, plane of water moving into the distance. You just can't see it. So it would be rising to eye level, so to speak. Okay, this water would continue to rise. If this mirage was gone, you would see water cut through the middle of that image until you got to another horizon line. But
Right. But my question is, we're seeing farther than that. Plus, we have the dark and light. Like, this is a freaky picture.
yeah, trying to think of. I really do have to wrap this up, but I get carried away and keep talking about this.
Yeah, I
If
gotta
you
go. I gotta go too. Yeah.
So let's finish this up in terms of what you just said with QE, and you've got a boat that seems to be floating in the air. That's an inferior mirage. The only thing about it is you don't have the boat miraged underneath. It's just the sky.
Yeah, but the thing, it's not miraged. If I'm not mistaken, it's not a upside down inverted image.
Correct.
It's like,
Not the
it's like
not the boat. The boat is not. Okay, but listen real quick. The boat isn't inverted, but the sky is. That's what's underneath the boat. It's the sky being mirrored underneath, giving it the appearance of being up in the air. So
okay, I'm gonna have to have another look at that.
sure.
Yeah, okay.
So if you think about this right here, I don't. Can you see my mouse as well
Mm-hmm.
in the shared? Okay, so this image right here is inverted and miraged because there is something physical there.
Yeah, that's unquestionable.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now right here, if there were something here, it would be inverted and mirrored. There's still a mirage happening here. There's still refractive distortion happening here. The only thing is, you don't have an object to mirage, but this is still a mirage. It's just the sky.
Right,
It's
right,
just the
right.
sky.
Yeah, yeah, because I see the band there. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that brown band. Yeah, yeah.
So
So that
that's
whole band is mirage there,
yeah.
from left to right. Yeah,
Correct, correct. Yeah, and I've made those
Understood.
comments. Yeah, I've made those comments on my platform observations simply because I have boats coming into proximity, and then you've got that same effect. You watch this boat traveling through the aether band, and it's carrying the mirage with it the entire time. But once it moves past a geographical location in space, uh, there's no image there anymore except for the sky. But then you don't.
Okay, I have another question here. This
Okay.
part I get and it's evident. How about the part behind that?
Well, I
Looks
don't.
like a horizon or a haze.
You
What would you
mean
call that?
you mean
in the back?
above?
That
You mean
brown-
above?
above? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That again, I think has not been classified. As far as I've looked, and again, I could be wrong because I didn't know about the vanishing line terminology. If it, I don't think that we have considered an alternative for curvature when there's no inferior mirage, and that's why I'm calling it a refractive distortion. Even though there's no inferior mirage, there is still a distortion due to the index of refraction, and it just simply has not been looked at. We have been satisfied with our suspect for murder that we have not been looking in the right place.
This is a fascinating picture. I see water, dark. Then obviously we see the inferior mirage, but then behind that, it's like this is a fascinating picture.
Yeah. So, okay, everybody out there in the chat. Thank you so much for being a part of The Plain Truth. I am your host with SE Montreal and earlier Ranty Flat Earth. Guys, and SE, thanks so much for being a part of the conversation. And let's keep talking, and let's keep our ears open and our eyes open.
Pleasure. This was a good discussion, and everybody saw that two flat earthers hashing out the differences, talking, and eventually we're gonna get to the truth, guys.
Indeed, indeed. All right, so here we go. I got to wrap it up. Get out of here. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep talking. So,
Peace
SE,
out.
yep. Talk to you later, man.
Later.
All right, I'm ending the meeting there. Chris Berry, I'm not going to block Danny D. Sorry, just not going to. But that's fine if you do. Okay, did not get to what I wanted to do today, but had a fantastic discussion. Heath Carmody, thanks so much. I just want to read this last comment. It just came up right now. This final comment, what does it say? Yes. Travis is right. If the gradient is linear and not too strong, you can get sinking with no mirage. Damn straight. Good stuff. I want to keep these discussions open, so please, anybody, anytime, if this is going on, jump into the chat. And yeah, I got to wrap it up. I'm just mumbling. I love this shot. Beautiful 3-sail sailboat. This thing was massively far away, and